Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stronger, Leaner, Lighter show. I'm your host, Sally Thibault. I am so excited to spend some time with you this week speaking to my wonderful guest, Karen Millers, and let's get this show started. I've been so looking forward to this interview, I got to tell you. I'd like to introduce you, everybody, to Karen Millers. And I love interviewing successful women. And it's one of my things that I wanted to do this year was to be able to bring a series of shows that are showing women in different areas, different careers, doing different things, and, you know, still making a huge mark in this world that's gone a little bit crazy. I feel like, so Karen, let me introduce you first and read a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into the show. So you began your career with one of the major banks, working your way, I love this, working your way up from sweeping the pavement outside one of the branches to many corporate roles. But Karen, like many of us, once you started a family, the juggle of having children and a corporate career just didn't mix. And so along with your husband, at the time ex-husband, decided to buy their own business and work for themselves with a huge, and she's got this in capital letters, huge investment in capital, time and energy. So the dream of owning a business that would give them time and money was not what they expected. And 3 years later, sold, and then Karen started looking for the perfect business. So 6 years later, she was introduced to a company called New Skin, and reluctantly, skeptically, far from willingly, she checked out the company and soon became a very excited product user. We discussed before. Remember the ad, the razor guy? I love the business so much. I love the product so much. What business? That was you, right? She decided to partner with New Skin, wildly excited about a device called the Galvanic Spa, which they've nicknamed the Wrinkle Iron. And she went on sharing what she loves, and a couple of years later became New Skin's South Pacific Woman Entrepreneur of the Year, and now is often referred to as the Millionaire Million-Dollar Mum. So Karen, welcome.
Thank you, Sally. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. I'm pitching myself because I struggle that has been my journey.
Yeah. I think what's really interesting is that oftentimes we see somebody like you, we've actually known each other 15 years. Can you believe it? It was when I'd stepped out of my role in the school. I'd just written my first book, and we met at a networking event, and you got up and you talked, and I thought, what's she talking about? and then I started using the products, and then your life got in the way, and I didn't, for whatever reason, sort of stopped. And then we connected again on Instagram about 12 months ago, and I started watching you and thinking, what the hell's she doing? How come she still looks so good? And we're like, we haven't seen her in 15 years. And so we've reconnected again. So my husband bought me, I fell in February and fractured a bone in my foot, and feeling a bit sad and sorry for myself, my husband bought me some New Skin products, which was just out of the blue. And I loved them. And then I thought, I got to connect with Karen again because these products are amazing. But first of all, before we go into it, I want to hear your story. Like, what happened? So you went in the bank. Tell us all about that. You started in the bank. How old were you then?
I was 19 when I started in the bank, but I had left school at 15 because my parents were farmers living on the northern end of the Gold Coast, sugarcane farmers, and I'm one of 8 kids, so didn't have a lot of choices in life. We all left school at 15 and started working.
Wow.
So I was doing administration roles, but fell into the bank at 19 and really loved working in the bank, as in had lots of friends, and it was a great community. But once you got, I married another bank Johnny, and then you transferred around the countryside. So every 2 years you transferred for promotion. And once you had kids, that wasn't fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And in the bank you were just a number, and the bank had changed too from when I joined, and you became a number, and they didn't really care about you or your family or whatever. And we were living country Queensland. We had been transferred from one country town to another country town and could not get back. And my husband at the time, his mother passed away, and the bank didn't even send him a card. Between the two of us, we'd worked for this particular bank for 40 years.
Wow.
So, and we had moved a lot, and we just decided then and there that they don't care about us. Why are we busting our
Yeah.
for them?
Yeah.
It was tough.
So you're in that. So then you decided, well, we're going to go into business for ourselves.
Well, all the people that had money in the bank were people that were business owners. They weren't doing the job thing like we were, you know.
Yeah.
So we saw lots of people with lots of money in their accounts, and it wasn't from having a job.
Yeah.
So we knew we had to buy a business, but finding one, and we decided that at that time to stay in the country in a small town called Toogoolawah in the Brisbane Bay. Yeah, and Toogoolawah is Aboriginal for hot as hell in summer and freezing cold in winter. Well, my version of what it means.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we spent a lot of money, about $700,000 in today's money, for a business that sold 60-cent stamps. So you do the maths. You had to sell a lot of stamps to get your money back.
Yeah. Now that must have been hard, because having a business at that stage, I mean, and you've got two small children by this stage.
A 4-year-old and a 6-month-old.
Wow. And we all of us know that owning a small business like that is time and labor intensive. It must have been tough.
It was very tough. In fact, a friend is out traveling that way at the moment, and she put on my Facebook page this morning, here's the Toogoolawah post office, and I sort of had shivers thinking, oh my goodness, it was a really hard time. People think, we started work at 6:15 every morning because the mail had to be sorted and all those sorts of things, and we worked 10 hours a day, 6 days a week minimum. Wow. And we tried to raise a family at the same time. It was hell, virtually.
Yeah.
It was hard work. I think I aged the most, 3 years and 6 months.
So you had it for 3 years. So what happened? You said, I've had enough. I'm going to sell. Where was that defining moment for you?
It was a lot of things. First of all, we have a life just like everyone else. My dad had passed away when we were in the post office, and we couldn't even go home together. Like, I went home with the girls myself, and you had to get somebody in to look after the post office. We had 1 week's holiday in that time.
Wow.
It wasn't a life, and we just couldn't continue to do it. And Australia Post weren't very good business partners, and they kept on changing the rules. We lost like $100,000 in one afternoon with you're not going to be doing that anymore. They just signed something and you lose money. And so there was a couple of things that happened, and we just thought, we're not going to do this. We're going to get out. While people still wanted to buy post offices, while it was still making money, we decided that let somebody else make some money, but this isn't for us.
So then what happened? So you sold that, and then what? What did you do then?
We went and moved to Toowoomba, where we first lived when we were married, and in the bank, because we knew we had connections there. Noel went and got a job. He worked for he was the regional manager of Commerce Queensland, which is the industry group that look after small businesses. And we thought that is the best place for us to go find the perfect business. And I went back to Toowoomba, and by that time I wanted to have a little bit of time with the kids, but I got back and I had friends that were working in different places, and I got a phone call saying, come work with us. And so I went back to work after about 3 or 4 months, and then we were juggling both corporate jobs and juggling kids and life.
And there'd be heaps of people on this call today or watching this later who'll go, that's us.
Yep. And all I did was run. I'd get up in the morning and I would exercise, because I've always exercised, and I'd go swimming in the morning, and then I would come home and I would start yelling at my kids, hurry up, get moving, do whatever you had to do, throw them in the car, drive to school, usually barking out orders all the way, and then throwing my kids out of the car, and then going to work, making somebody else a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, picking up my kids from some sort of after-school care or vacation care or some sort of care that they hated, and so did I.
Yeah.
and then yelling at them again to hurry up and get moving and get bathed and get homeworked and get to bed so I could go to bed, because I was tired, I was stressed, I was unhappy. But we needed to have two incomes. Not that we were fancy people. We never went out. We never went for dinner. We never went to the movies. We put our kids in private schools because that was a choice for us. But that was it. And then we survived.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Holiday a year.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? You know, we send our kids to private school too. You know, people talk about rich people sending their kids to private school. No, the people who struggle. And, you know, I can remember thinking, oh my God, you know, like school fees, dance fees, holiday. Well, the holiday always fell through the cracks. The dinner always fell through the cracks in order to keep them in school and dance. And then like that, you know, I was just laughing to myself, you know, I used to, you know, you get the kids in the car and yelling and say, have a good day.
Make good choices. Be nice to people.
That's right. And I go home and go, oh no, I've just yelled at these poor children. And they go, oh, get out of the car. You know, I know that, you know, it's just like this blur, isn't it? I mean, it's a blur. So you did all that, and then tell me about the day you were introduced to this product, this company.
Okay, so we were looking for businesses, and just when we look at businesses, we knew why people wanted to sell them because they didn't want the heartache and the headaches either.
Yeah.
And we were looking at franchises because we had a post office, and we knew that 75% of franchises succeeded, whereas 95% of startup businesses failed. And so we were looking at Subway, and a lady we met had owned a couple of Subway stores, and she was selling them. And so we were sitting down with her and talking to her about Subway, and we just said, well, why are you selling it? And she said, well, because, to be frank, it's an adult daycare centre. She said, but for 16-year-olds, you know. And we thought, she's talking us out because she's not selling it.
What a great way to describe it.
Yes. And so we said, well, what are you going to do? And she says, well, I've partnered with a company, an international company that has some really unique technology in anti-aging and wellness. And she said, I believe that's the future. And so that's what I'm going to do. And we went, well, tell us about that. You've talked us out of the Subway store. Tell us about that. And it was a company called New Skin. And at that time, they were a $1 billion company. And they had a beautiful range of skincare products. And they had just been getting into innovation, skincare and also nutritional. And they were starting to innovate, and they were about to launch something called a biophotonic scanner that in 35 seconds could measure your antioxidants. And my family history was full of cancer. And so, my dad had died of cancer, my uncles, my cousin at the age of 9 with leukemia, and it just went on. And so I was interested in health and nutrition. And I thought, well, I'm really interested in that. So I would like to find out more about that. And so that sort of opened the door. And then, I found out that it was a network marketing company, and I thought that was for losers and for people that didn't have skills. So I wasn't interested in that at all, just completely closed. That's where you sell stuff to your friends and then you have no friends. And so when they shared with me about the business, I went, yeah, I'm not doing that. But was interested in the products. And so when they talked about the products, I thought, yeah, I need to know about that. And I was a customer for about 2 years. And then the only way to learn about the product back then was to go to the company's events. And they were going to launch this thing called the Galvanic Spa that irons out wrinkles. And I thought, that will never work. But everything else they've got is really good. My health had improved, my family's health had improved, my skin had improved, everything had improved. And I thought, well, they make really good products.
Yeah.
And so I was going to more events to find out about this wrinkle iron thing because I hadn't aged particularly well. At 38, I looked older than I do now at 56. And I was meeting these people that were and I mean this really not negatively, but they were ordinary people.
Yeah.
But they were living amazing lives, and they had choices in their life, and they weren't yelling at their kids every day, and they were not wearing socks and sandals. They were really nice people, and I thought, oh, maybe there's more to this than what I think. And so when the Galvanic Spa came out, and they said, and I went to the launch of it, and there was about 300 people. I'd driven down from Toowoomba to Brisbane, walked into this big room, 300 odd people in there. They're doing half of people's faces, and I didn't let anybody touch me. I didn't have a demonstration or anything like that. I was just watching and looking, and because I'm naturally negative, and so anyway.
Prove it to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was watching this lady get half her face done, and right in front of my eyes, her face changed.
Wow.
Her eyes softened, her eyebrow lifted, her cheeks sat up higher, and I said, I'll have one of those.
What year was that, Karen?
November 2006.
Wow. Okay. So at that time, did you say, right, I'm going to do this, or did you just still use the product for a while?
So I went home to my husband at the time, and I said, that company, they brought out this thing, it irons out wrinkles out of your face. And he said, oh, you'd believe anything. And I
It's something my husband would say to me too. Yeah.
I said, sit down, I bought it. And he was not impressed, because this time, we're still juggling everything. And
yeah.
Anyway, so I sat him down, and I did half of his face and half of my face, and looked in the mirror, could not see anything. And he just thought it was rubbish. And so he went on to berate me about how gullible I was and everything like that. And I said, look, I don't care what you do. You can get older and uglier, but I'm going to use this thing. And so I started using it. And I rang up all my girlfriends the next day and said, hey, I got this thing, and it irons out wrinkles out of your face. And, oh, sorry, I'm moving. And I knew if I didn't share it with you, you'd kill me. And anyway, everyone wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And my one sister said to me, you better come and show me straight away. And I went over to her place and did half of her face, and she couldn't see anything either. But she said to me, are you going to use it? And I said, I bought it. Of course I'm going to use it. And she said, well, you can't look younger than me, so I want one too.
Love it. Love it.
And so that's how it's just started happening by sharing it with my girlfriends, and they were getting results. Like my sister rang me 2 weeks' time and said, okay, that thing works. What else you got? And that's virtually how it happened, by people like my sister being, you can't look younger, so I'll have one too. And then they're going, that thing really works.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
And that's
because I've been watching you over the last year, and I'm thinking, she's getting younger. I want to know what the heck she's doing. And of course, I'm a little bit old, as you know. So it was like, if you can, and then one day you put up a photo of your before and after, and I thought, wow, that's and it was kind of like this dunk moment for me. And I thought, we don't need to look our age. I mean, I don't mind aging. That's fine. Like I'm getting older, but for me, it was like I was aging externally in my face, but internally I still felt like I was 40. So it was watching you do that. So I want to ask this. So now are you one of the top people in Australia with new skin? Is that correct? Okay. So where did you this is what I want to know, because there's so many multi-level marketing companies, and the statistics aren't really good. You get a certain number of people. Where did you make the decision that I'm going to go for this? Where did you say, or did you, like, I really want to be good at this. I want this to be. Was there a moment that you did that you can remember?
There sure was. I'm not very proud of this moment. So we had moved from Toowoomba back to the Gold Coast. So I was born here, and because of my husband's work, and I didn't have a lot of choice in it. I had left my dream home, which we had in Toowoomba, and I had left a lot of great friends and good school life for the kids. And though I wasn't happy, like, I mean, I was always running around, but there was a lot of good things I loved about it. And we had moved here, and we were here probably 6 months, maybe 12 months. And I was still working but doing a bit of dabbling with New Skin. And the Governance Bar was released in the November, and the December we moved here. And then about maybe 12 months later, my partner came home from work and said that his work was closing here. We're going to have to move again. We had uprooted when we moving a girl in grade 10. Lauren was in grade 10. There was so many tears. There was, tantrums. There was lots of crying, and that was just me, let alone the girl. And it was a tough time moving girls at school and moving them away from their friends. And Noel said we would have to move again. And it was my turn to have a tantrum, and I just said, no, not doing it. I'm going to do this New Skin thing. I am going to make more money than you, and the next time that I move is because I want to move. And everyone else can go get stuffed. I'm not doing this anymore. I was sick and tired. Lauren had gone to 6 or 7 different schools. It was, as a mother, I just couldn't do it anymore. And I thought, I always thought my partner would be the person that I was brought up, that the husband worked and the mums, not that mums stayed at home, but, they did stuff together, and it just wasn't working for me. And I just thought, that's it. It was drawing a line in the sand. I'm not waiting for him anymore. I'm doing this, and I am going to take control of my life and my family. And I'm doing this.
So, to get where you are in this network marketing arena, while many people can see you standing on stage and getting all the accolades and all that stuff, what are some of the biggest challenges on that journey from that day you made the decision? When was that? What year was that?
That would have been the end of 2007.
Okay, end of 2007 to now. What have been some of the biggest challenges in order to stay focused on this business and continue to grow as you have? What would you say? Because I know there's going to be quite a few people watching this today who right now are thinking, I don't want to stay in corporate and be told what I can do with my body. I need to make something of. What would you say? And to be very transparent and honest and open, because I think sometimes those types of businesses make it sound wonderful and it's hard. So getting back to that question, what have been some of the biggest challenges you feel you've had to overcome to get where you are today?
Well, first of all, there are companies and there are companies. There's Brixton West and David Jones. They both sell undies and towels and shoes and Manchester and all that sort of stuff. But are they the same? And the answer is no. And so I had never been associated with another network marketing company, so I can't talk about any other company. And quite frankly, if something happened to New Skin and they fell apart tomorrow, would I go to another network marketing company? And the answer is probably no. Because they're not the same. And so I fell in love with the products. I fell in love with the company, and then I fell in love with the business structure. So, and that was only after I understood it, after I experienced it, that I fell in love with that. So the company and the products was first. But the biggest thing, first of all, was not to listen to anyone that was not where I wanted to be. So many people have got an opinion. I know I had an opinion. It was for losers. That's where you sell stuff to friends and you have no friends. That's what I thought it was. And it is so far from that.
Yeah.
It is completely different. It's about it's about win-winning. It's about helping other people get what they want, and in turn you'll get what you want. So one of the biggest challenges, and it wasn't a challenge once I decided. Once I made the decision, I was only ever going to listen to people that were where I wanted to be. And so I just had blinkers on, and I had opinions from everyone. Everyone wanted to give me their opinion. And I just stopped listening to people because they weren't where I wanted to be. They were working in jobs. They didn't have a life. They weren't spending time with their kids. They weren't doing the things that I wanted to do, and they certainly weren't paying my bills.
Yeah.
So that had to be a very, very strong decision. Your belief had to be bigger than anybody else's doubt. And so because I had 2.5 years or 3 years of exposure of the company, and people that had partnered with them, I had a lot of belief. And because I didn't have that belief to start with. So the belief had to be there. I believed in the product. I was a walking billboard. I had great results from everything that I had used. And so it was easy to be able to share something that you loved. And so much more fun. I mean, when I used to work in the bank, if I taught someone else how to do my job and they were better than me, I was worried about my job.
Yes.
In this business, if you teach someone, if you help someone get what they want, whether it's to feel good about themselves, whether it's to love the skin that they're in, whether it's to get rid of their wobbly bits, whether it's to help pay some bills, whether it's to help them sack their boss or go on a holiday, or it is so rewarding and so much fun. And so the rewards are great in this business. And I never, ever, the only time I got recognised in the bank was when I did something wrong. And, when I was talking too loud and laughing too much and having fun with my customers, I would get in trouble for that. Whereas here, it's all about fun and love and laughter and fulfillment and helping other people. Was it an easy journey along the way? No, I had to build a lot of resilience and a lot of, people quite interesting what they say to people when they join a network marketing company. How much money are you making? I've never asked anybody that in my life. Looking at to buy their business, then you'd see their spreadsheets. But I beg your pardon. And a lot of people think it's a thing to be rude to people that are sharing something that they love, and it's quite interesting that some people are like that. And so I came across a lot of people that were very rude, and it just showed me that they're not the type of people that I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that are inspired and self-motivated and are looking for more in their lives, not the people that are judgmental and
I'm reminded of that quote Brene Brown talks about. I think it was Eisenhower. You don't judge me until you've been in the ring with me, bloodied and covered in mud, and then judge me. But if you haven't, I'm not interested. I really want to know though, how did you? I mean, you would have got a lot of no's. You would have got a lot of negativity. Over time, did you build sort of strategies, resilience around, because I know for many women, it's the no they hate. They're worried to ask. It doesn't matter whether it's in doing what I'm doing or whether it's, selling real estate, whatever it is, it's the no that scares them more than ever. Do you have a mindset trick? Do you have what's that thing for you that you got over the, no, I'm not interested, or no, I don't want to do that, or no, I don't like what you're doing? Was there anything that sort of switched on for you there?
I cried a lot. Does that help?
Makes you real, Karen.
I walked over the bridge of tears many times. Yes, I did. What I realised, I remember, because we didn't have Facebook or social media or any of those sorts of things. It was all face-to-face, and it was or over the phone. And so I just remembered, because my mum had a shop growing up, and so people would come into the shop and they'd look around and they wouldn't buy anything and they'd walk out. And my mum never cried about that. She just said, that's what happens. Some people just don't buy anything.
Yeah.
They're having a look. And so it was about a bit about numbers, but it was more about, it's just not right for them right now.
Yes.
Just like it wasn't right for you right now. And that's okay. People have to make their own choices. My job is to share and show. If this is something that's interesting to you, I'd love to share it with you. If not, that's okay.
Yeah, and not to take it personally with the no. Just that's and I mean that was what it was for me. I don't know what happened. I was using the product, and then as I said, it just sort of switched back on again. I'm thinking, why did I stop using those bloody things?
But it wasn't a problem for me that you decided not to do that, because okay, not right, but not the right time.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, isn't it? I think that for all of us in business is to realise that for some people it's just not the right time. My husband's been in real estate for 35 years, or more than that now, almost 40 years. He got a call from a guy yesterday, hasn't spoken to him in 15 years, and he said, I haven't spoken to you in 15 years, but I remember you. I wasn't ready at the time to purchase a property. I want to do it now. So it's like if you make an impression on somebody, they will remember that. And I think that's for you. You've made that impression. I mean, I remembered that. I never felt pressured with you. I never felt that I was doing it, but you just made me feel good when I was with you and you didn't judge me. So I think that's really important. All right, we're going to finish up because we've gone way over time. We've still got some few people. If anybody's got any questions, I'm going to put a link down below so you can get a hold of Karen. And if there's anything else you want to learn more about the business that she mentors wonderful women. And I think, how good is this? Right now, women are stepping up and we need good people around us. We just have to have good people around us. We have to have people that think like we do. We have to have people that support us in a world that's so judgmental. I just want to know if you've got a couple of tips that you want to share with somebody if they're thinking, I don't want to be in this corporate job anymore. I'm done, but I've never done anything like this in my life. What would you say to them?
Well, I think the thing that holds most of us back from doing anything that we really want to do is fear.
Yeah.
And overcoming fear, I think, I love things like Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it.
Yeah.
And I think about what if. So I remember I used to have to make phone calls. I got to make phone calls with people like yourself. Hey, Sally, shared this with you. And I used to think before a phone call, oh my goodness, what if they say no? And I had to change everything around to what if they say yes?
Yes.
So it was a big thing for me, change the negative into a positive.
Yeah.
What if this? It's what if that? Or instead of I have to, it's I get to. And, that was the thing. And the thing is, you have to learn, I believed I had to, because I was very shy. I was very quiet. I didn't have a big circle of friends. I'm one of 8 kids. I have 200 plus cousins, so I never went outside of my family circle because I didn't have to. And now I have thousands of friends all over the world. I'm so blessed. So it's about changing those negative things. I'm not good enough. I don't know how to do this. To I am good enough. I can learn how to do this. I will. I am. I must. I get to. So changing those I am negatives to I am pluses. I literally sat down and wrote on one side of a piece of a book all the things, all the negative stuff that I felt about me that was stopping me from growing and to becoming the best version of me. And then on the other side, I sat down and changed all of those negatives, I ams, to a positive I am. And I still have that book in my desk here. And I look at them and I still struggle with I call it the itty bitty shitty committee inside of my head. Often I have to tell them to sit down and be quiet because I'm not listening. This is my journey, not theirs.
That's so good. And look, this is just a great way to end. It's been a fantastic show. I'm going to put them in the comments below. And for those listening on the podcast, you'll hear it, you'll see it in the show notes, how you can get in touch with Karen, how you can have a chat with her and see if you were really at this point in time saying, you know, I want something different, or you just want to look younger, like many of us. Oh, yeah, all the wobbly bits, absolutely. You can reach out to Karen or you can reach out to me. But thank you, everybody, for being on the show. Karen, this has been brilliant. Thank you so much for spending the time talking. I mean, it's just so wonderful. Lovely comment from Trish. Congratulations on your resilience. It's been remarkable. What a great advocate for direct sales. So thanks, Trish. Trish, who's had a lot of experience in the air, one of my favorite people in the world. So thank you, Trish. That's been fantastic. Karen, thank you so much. It's just been a pleasure, and I'm so glad we've reconnected again. It's just, you're such a joy, and I just want to hang around with just good people right now. I want to hang around with people with vision. I want to hang around with people who have, you know, like you, who can say, how do I turn this negative into a positive? How do I make myself better, bigger, brighter? And that's what we need. Bigger, better, bigger, brighter women in the world that just let their light shine. And, you know, there is an alternative. Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. Thank you for being on, everybody. And I'll see you next week on the Stronger Leaner Lighter Show. Bye for now.